Glenn Montori. I am here to talk to you guys about Mike Portnoy's top, I'd say, stylistic choices and most famous beats that he's utilized in multiple songs, which you can then learn and put into your own playing. I'm going to show you a few examples here, but to start off, let's do the most famous one that he pretty much pioneered, which is that really strong twos over twos feel between hands and feet. Example number 1. So doing that slowly, you can really hear how each piece needs to be perfect, and then when you put some more juice into it, then you know it's going to be good. So let's do the slow version now. And you could do a bunch of different versions with this. You can start to do 4s over 2s. You can do 6. And on and on and on. You can just go crazy with it. So, and at different tempos, different speeds, you know. So that whole thing. Have fun with that. The next example I'd like to go over is something that I call the kick pumps, which is 4 on the floor pretty much that he utilizes, where the bass drum maybe starts on 1 and 3, but then by the second half of the phrase going through, it will hit on every beat. So, for example, that song Home, where he's going, and then you incorporate the kick drums. It just gives it more of a punch for that groove, and it, you know, accompanies the riff a lot better than if you just to do. You give it that extra oomph on every beat. Boom, there you go. The next example I have is using tambourine or like cowbell as a primary source instead of a hi-hat or a ride. So like Under a Glass Moon. Or just, you know, a regular Portnoy style thing where you could be going like. The next example I have is what I call the MP Samba, which is something he did in the Name of God on Train of Thought, which is a pretty cool little pattern. Has like a samba-ish feel to it. So as I remember it, I believe it's like this. What I like about that is that the feet are alternating. You got kick and hi-hat going. And then it's a pretty cool ride pattern between the body of the ride and the bell. That kind of thing. And then when you put them all together, you got the tom groove. Between the 8 and the 12 kind of thing. You could do 10 and 12, whatever floats your boat. And then when you put it all together. The next example I have on the list here is the Metropolis tom groove, which every Mike Portnoy fan really digs, I'm sure. And you can totally take this pattern and utilize it in your everyday playing of your choice. So I really like this groove. It goes a little something like this. A little bit slower. The next thing I have here is the Neil Peart hi-hat snare trick, Mike Portnoy extravaganza. And basically he uses it in a wide variety of songs. I've heard it in a bunch, in solos, this and that. And it just goes like this. You know, just experiment in between the snare and the hi-hat there. and have a blast. The next thing on my list here is the fast triplet bursts of kicks that he does once in a while. He did it on the most recent Liquid Tension, did it with the Petrucci record that he just did. Some Dream Theater song, like later Dream Theater songs, when he was incorporating a lot more like heavy metal double kick influence. So let's start off with a groove first, and then you'll notice when it comes in. So here we go. Woo! So there's that thing. That's just basically fast-ass triplets. So. All right. Next on my list here is a concept that I like that he does, where you could just be playing a solid kick pattern just full through. Keep the kick going the same exact way that you're doing it, but you're going to end up changing what you do with your hands, and it ends up changing the feel of the entire groove and the entire feel of the phrase. So, for example... So right in there, you could hear how it goes from one phrase to another phrase just from changing what you're doing with your hands, because the kicks will be a constant through that whole tempo. Next on the list is alternating cymbals within a groove. So basically, that is like this. So you could see how he uses cymbals musically in that way. And the final thing on the list to end it all off and to close it all off today is the classic Mike Portnoy big ending around the world fill that he uses the octobans and then all of the toms. So basically, that's just a load of fun. So let's have that right now together. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will do this again sometime. Thank you, and good night.